Financial Futures, a podcast by Van City.
Hi, listeners. Welcome back to the Financial Futures Podcast, where we break down complex financial concepts into bite-sized pieces for the everyday person. I am your favorite finance student and beloved host, Ben, and today we will be demystifying credit cards. Today I am here with our special guest, Matthew, a student from UBC Sauder School of Business.
Thanks for having me on, Ben. I'm very excited to share some of my expertise on today's episode.
Perfect. Let's jump right in. Why don't you start and tell us what a credit card is and how it works?
Absolutely. So essentially, a credit card is a very short-term loan. When you make a purchase, say you're buying your morning coffee at Starbucks, you tap your plastic credit card, your credit card company pays for your purchase, and now you owe your credit card company a small sum of money. And you can keep making purchases and borrowing money up until your predefined credit limit that's set forth by your credit provider.
So why would someone want to use a credit card to borrow on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think very commonly people think they don't need a credit card since they have enough cash in their bank account and they can just use their debit card to cover their day-to-day purchases. Moreover, I think there's this underlying negative sentiment toward being indebted, owing someone money. However, credit cards, they're not only a convenient payment method, but they're also a tool to build credibility with lenders. By demonstrating that you have responsible financial habits, by borrowing a reasonable amount of money and consistently repaying off your credit card on time, lenders are more likely to trust you and to lend money to you in the future. And this comes in especially handy when you're trying to make a big purchase. Say you're trying to get a loan for a car or a house.
So the main benefit of credit cards is to prove to lenders that you are trustworthy. And so you are more likely to get approved for loans in the future?
Yeah, that is one benefit. You get approved much easier for loans. But moreover, making purchases on your credit card that you would otherwise make on your debit card actually saves you money in the long run. Because on one hand, your credit card can offer terrific travel and cashback rewards, and these rewards can be worth considerable amounts of money. And those really add up. But also, if you consistently prove to your lenders that you're a trustworthy borrower through your healthy financial habits, you build a credit score. And so lenders will look at your credit score and kind of determine how risky you are as a borrower. And if you can prove that you're a low risk borrower, they will charge you a lower interest rate on your loans. And this can save you hundreds or thousands of dollars over the long term, especially when you're trying to make a big purchase like a multi-million-dollar home in Vancouver, and you have to, I guess, pay an interest rate on that mortgage. If you have a lower interest rate on that, you're going to be paying a lot less over the long term.
That makes perfect sense. You use the words credit score. Can you break down what you meant by that?
Yeah, for sure. So a credit score is a three-digit number that measures a person's creditworthiness or the probability that they're going to pay off their debts. So having a higher score is better because banks view that as more trustworthy. And there's a few factors that impact your credit score, everything from your history of making credit payments on time, your total outstanding debts, the length of your credit history or credit record there, and the number of new credit applications that you've made, whether it be applying for new credit cards or loans. But for best practice, always make sure that you're making your payments on time, staying below 30% of your total available credit limit, and ensure that you're not applying for too many loans or credit cards within a short period of time, like a 4 to 6 month period. And if you stick to these habits, your credit score will gradually rise and your lenders will see that you're a trustworthy borrower. I highly recommend that if you're interested to learn more, talk to your local financial advisor at your local branch or credit union.
It sounds like there are a lot of amazing benefits from credit cards. I know personally, I've definitely had a few free flights from credit cards, so I really appreciate the travel rewards. But is there a catch with them?
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're financially responsible and diligently making payments, spending within your means, you have absolutely nothing to worry about. However, it should be noted that credit cards, they're not great for those um, long-term borrowing because after that 1 month interest-free grace period, after you make a small purchase, this 20% plus interest rate begins accruing on your outstanding debt. And holding this balance on your credit card for a long time will basically cause your debt to compound at an alarming rate. And I always recommend that people don't spend beyond their means because it can be a vicious cycles. But as I said, as long as you're financially responsible and spending within your means, you have nothing to worry about.
Perfect. Well, as we wrap up this episode, how does someone go about getting a credit card?
Yeah, well, the first step is do your due diligence. There's many cards out there that have different income requirements, monthly fees and rewards. There's many types of people out there that just want to sell you a credit card, but really identify what are your qualifications, what are the perks that are important to you. But for the most part, if you're 19 years old, you qualify for a credit card in BC. And I highly recommend that you go down to your local bank or credit union and consult a financial professional to find out what card is right for you. And then that way you can begin building your credit score immediately.
Well, unfortunately, I've had such a great time today, but that's all the questions I have for you, Matthew. Thanks for joining me on today's episode of Financial Futures.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. It was a pleasure.
Join us next episode as we welcome special guest Jacob to help explore taxes. Look forward to another spirited discussion, and until then, make sure you invest in your future.